My name is Claire. I'm 23 years old, and I never thought that one of my closest friends of 10 years would betray me in such a reckless and dangerous way. My best friend, Alice, also 23, used her work computer at a doctor's clinic to look up my health insurance information without my permission. She then took a photo of it and sent it to me over text. At first, you might think, maybe she was just being helpful, but the truth is far more complicated and terrifying. Alice's boyfriend, who has been with her for only a year, is controlling and abusive. He uses her laptop, her car, her credit cards, everything she owns, and he reads all of her private messages, which means there was a very real possibility he saw that photo containing my personal information. This isn't just about privacy, it's about safety. Her boyfriend has already used her money for drugs, driven her car drunk, and even got her to buy him a motorcycle that ended up being impounded because he didn't bother to get a license. He leeches off her in every way possible, and slowly, I've watched him isolate her from everyone who cares about her. When I saw that photo, I felt sick. My heart was pounding, and when I confronted Alice, she just laughed and said she was curious. Curious? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I asked her if she even knew what HIPAA was, considering she worked in a medical office, and she just left me on red. No apology, no accountability, just silence. 2 weeks later, I blocked her. I couldn't take the risk, and honestly, I couldn't forgive her. But things didn't end there. I turned to two other friends, Bella and Cassie, for support. Cassie was understanding. She admitted she couldn't wrap her head around why Alice would do something so careless. But Bella immediately jumped to Alice's defense. She said Alice had good intentions, that she was only being playful and trying to connect with me. To me, that was ridiculous. If Alice wanted to connect, she could have acted like an adult and simply asked me. Instead, she violated my trust, risked her job, and put my personal information at risk. I even said to Bella, "What if my social security number had been on there? What if her boyfriend used it to take out credit cards in my name?" Bella had nothing to say to that. Not long after, Bella asked to hang out. I agreed, but told her straight up that I had blocked Alice and didn't want to mix things. She left me on read for days before sending me a passive-aggressive message basically saying, "I'm sorry you're hurt, but if you didn't want my opinion, you should have said so." It felt like she was blaming me instead of taking responsibility. Then Cassie started pulling away too. She flaked on plans, ghosted me, and later admitted she had gone out with Bella on the very day she and I were supposed to meet up. I realized then that I was being pushed out of the group I had been part of for 10 years. It felt like they were meeting behind my back, maybe even planning some kind of intervention to pressure me into forgiving Alice. But the trust was gone. I started to wonder, was I wrong for cutting Alice off? And would I be wrong for distancing myself from Bella and Cassie too? I read the comments when I first shared this, and many people told me I wasn't wrong at all. They said Alice's actions weren't just a betrayal, they were illegal. They told me I needed to report her, not just to my insurance, but to the clinic she worked at, because this was a serious HIPAA violation. At first, I thought reporting to my insurance was enough. It wasn't. I eventually filed an official complaint through the Office for Civil Rights, and then contacted Alice's workplace directly. I explained everything and provided screenshots. The clinic opened an investigation. A few days later, I received a message that they had put Alice on leave, reviewed her activity logs, and required her to undergo additional HIPAA training. They also implemented new safeguards to prevent anything like this from happening again. It wasn't the dramatic ending people might have expected, but it was something. At least her actions had consequences. Since then, I haven't heard from Alice, Bella, or Cassie. And maybe that's for the best. Looking back, Alice had always been reckless. She made careless choices without thinking about the consequences, and this time, it cost her both her job security and our friendship. Her boyfriend was a huge red flag from the very beginning, but she refused to listen to anyone about him. And as for Bella and Cassie, well, their silence and betrayal spoke louder than any words ever could. The night I first realized all of this, I was up until 4 in the morning, shaking with anxiety. I had just lost the people I considered my closest friends, and my post about it was messy, full of raw emotions. But now, With time and distance, I see it more clearly. Losing them hurt deeply, but maybe it needed to happen. Maybe it was the push I needed to set boundaries, to protect myself, and to stop being the kind of friend who accepts disrespect just because of shared history. It's sad to let go of a decade-long friendship, but sometimes you have to accept when people no longer belong in your life. And as painful as it was, I think this was the wake-up call I needed, not just to see who they really were, but to see the kind of person and friend I want to be moving forward.